r/AskReddit. How can you help a friend suffering from depression? When I was depressed, I never wanted to hang out with my friends because I thought I was useless. Something a friend did was ask me to go on errands with her. Made it seem like I was doing her a favor. Things like, can you go to the mall with me to pick out an interview shirt, or can you help me assemble my dresser, or anything else you can think of. This made me feel needed, and since there was a defined activity, I didn't have to put my mask on. Edit: I didn't mean to discount talking and messaging your friends to let them know you're there for them. If you find it difficult to get your friend to open up, my way is a good plan. C. Plan A is professional treatment, Plan B is letting your friend know you're there. Holy hell, I feel like that recently. Let them know that you're there, and actually be there. If they haven't messaged you in a while, hit them up, even if it's just a simple, hey. It shows you're still there and care. The problem with this approach in my experience was that I felt even guiltier that they were wasting time checking up on me. Also, I didn't really want to talk. I didn't want to waste someone's time by talking about whatever was going on with me. Depression is a disease that convinced me that I was a waste of a human. And low energy activity is honestly the best way. Going to the movies was great because I could just sit there. I am prone to long periods of depression where I just work, sleep, and lie around. My best friend invites me to everything. Every weekend, stop counting, we're getting together some people to play video games at 5, come over if you want. I almost never did. Literally, for every 20 invites, I might show up once. But he kept inviting me, all the time. If I say I'll go and drop out at the last minute, he's never mad. Just says maybe next time. Eventually, when I started to come out of it, I would get the invite and actually go. It was amazing for me, because re-entering a social life after dropping out for months at a time is really hard when everyone has given up on inviting you. He says he knows I'll almost never come and not to feel any pressure, but wants me to know I'm always welcome. That's the best kind of friend you can have. Edit: God damn it guys, now I need to show this to him and he's going to know my Reddit username. Fuckers. Edit 2, I no longer live near my friend, which is sad, but I am happily married and have a fulfilling job and don't get depressed anywhere near as often. He just had a baby a couple weeks ago and is embarking on new life adventures, so yay for my friend and his awesome wife. That's amazing. It's really special to have someone like that. I'm happy for you. I cried. Literally, cry. Be there. Check on them. Say hi. Send dumb memes you know will make them smile. Anything to let them remember they do have a friend. Even when they act like they don't want to be bothered. Not pushy, but just present. And be present in the moment when you're with them. Much of depression is heavily impacted by feelings of isolation and loneliness. Don't compound that by bringing it to the forefront when spending time with them. Edit: this is my most upvoted and my first gold and silvers are here also. I just wanted to relay what works. What we all want, but don't want to admit, to ourselves, or anyone else. Willed still lins forever. Be excellent to one another. I've been sending videos from r/instant regret recently and it usually gives them a chuckle. Hey. I've had it since I was 14, medicine caused a reaction that was permanent. I think I know ways to help. A lot of depression is due to focusing on these issues. Don't try to get his or her mind off of it. That just lengthens the problem until their next breakdown. A big issue for me is that nobody else knew that. So my problem was never fixed. And I felt like nobody was listening. Until I finally had the guts to tell my fiancée, back when we just began to date. And she listened. She actually cared for the deeper issues. You need to show you care for these issues as much as they do. And it's not a one-time thing either. You have to push them back up when they want to fall down. We can't do it ourselves sometimes, so we need a friendly push. Keep them from going back down. Be kind but firm about it. Find a logical and friendly conclusion to their issues. My biggest one was loneliness, as at that time I was at a new place and had just lost my best friend to suicide. Depression can make us feel weak and powerless. We lose hope for ourselves. That's why it's so rare for someone to help fully, because they think it's a one-time fix. Yes, I still struggle with issues. That's normal. But I'm not in the dark place I was because she stepped up. She's the light of my life. More beautiful than the stars in the heavens and the angels themselves. And you can be that light for someone else. Don't stop inviting them to things. They'll go eventually. Don't give up on them and write them off if they drop contact. A lot of depressed people stop making an effort socially and their friends will think they don't care and give up on them. Unfortunately, I know this from experience. Oftentimes, the depressed person might also feel that the friend doesn't care or simply doesn't want to burden the other person. Just showing a little bit of care goes a hell of a long way. Depression can make people want to isolate themselves. It can be okay for a very short period of time if they can get themselves straightened out. Even if you decide to give them a little bit of space, still offer to be there as much as you can for them. But most of the time, it ends up feeling like a deep hole you just can't climb out of yourself, and want help. Sadly, there are a lot of stigmas about mental illnesses which causes some to be afraid to ask for help. To start, the best thing you can do is always be there for them. Always offer support and be understanding of their situation, and don't just expect them to snap out of it or just be happy. Depression is often a consequence of somebody's bad life environment/situation, and that can take a long time to change. The biggest thing is just being understanding and supportive and remembering you can't force them to be happy. Only encourage and support them in figuring out what's making them depressed, and how they can change or accept those things. Can confirm, most socially introverted people don't want to feel like they're a burden to others. Make sure they don't feel that way if you truly care about them. Offer to bring them some takeout or coffee. Offer a chat or a hangout, mention that they don't have to explain anything and that you will be there if they need you. Don't downplay their problems or offer advice, just listen. Don't tell them that they should just try to think positive to get better. If it were that easy, they would have done it already. Really, don't act like there is any easy cure. It makes the person feel like you aren't taking their problem seriously and are devaluing their experience. The people who told me to just think positive and hit the gym more during my darkest depression made me feel so frustrated and misunderstood. It's not that bad, just think positive, just look for the positive in life, it's not as bad as X. In general, and what I've seen online is the starving kids in Africa argument. Yes, starving kids in Africa have it worse. It doesn't make me feel any better that you think my problem isn't as bad as that. I'm not in a great place myself right now, and I think I just want to be distracted and to provide help when I ask for it. Sometimes listening is good enough, sometimes actual help, sometimes just a distraction is fine. From a psychology viewpoint, always support them and never make them feel like they don't have control. Don't try to be the hero though. Talk to them more than once about seeking professional help, because that person will be able to analyze each unique individual to help them. If things get too far with the friend in terms of life threats or actual suicide attempts, you are not the bad guy for telling their parents/somebody who can step in and get them the right treatment. Thank you. Thank you and r/rim job Steve, but actually how do you step in? Who can I tell if their parents might be part of the problem? What if they don't trust me anymore for it? At least in my country, if you know that the person is suicidal and have proof for it, you can request for him to be taken to a mental facility. My friend threatened us, that if we ever did that, he'd find a way to kill himself anyway and he'd never trust anyone again. So I didn't. And he killed himself a few months later. So I guess perhaps it's better to lose someone's trust than to lose them overall. Be there, please, be there. Edit. Thank you for my first silver kind stranger and thank you for the many upvotes. I know it's a short answer but I promise it's filled with feelings. Came to say this as well. Check on them, and offer to listen. Be present enough to learn the ways their depression manifests because it's different for everyone. Ask them what they do when they're depressed and ask what you can do to help. Learn what kind of things will give them even the smallest boost. For me, it's a trip to the bookstore. To them it may be as easy as getting them Taco Bell. Use that as a way to get them to talk a bit, get them feeling like the world is okay for a while. Equally as important is making sure that you take any talk of suicide seriously. If something is off and they've been talking about suicide, call the police. They'd rather do a wellness check than remove a body any day. Even if the person begs you not to, they need help. If they are considering suicide, they need professional help. They might hate you for a while, but in the long run it will help them. Also, props on being such a good friend and asking how you can support them. Thanks for the advice. This is something me and my other friend have been recently told about and we just didn't want to say/do the wrong thing that could make things worse. The fact that you're even worried about saying the wrong thing means that your heart is in the right place. From a depressed person whose friends rarely reach out, I just want to really commend you. You're already doing more than most people do. Thank you, I really appreciate it.